These guys from a podcast called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty want to talk to you. And I think and I said, you don't have to tell me what it's about. I said, if it's called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, you definitely don't need to tell me what it's about. And I'm going on. This is what I want to do.
It's a Seinfeld podcast. It's called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty. But I thought, this is what a podcast should be.
I just did the Seinfeld guys pod the other day. I came up with
these pretzels are making me thirsty.
Oh,
that one. Shout out. We've done it. I've done it. Have you did it?
I've not gotten a chance to do it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
It's so fun. They're so fun.
When I don't know, it must have shown up in my feed, but I see these guys tweeting about Seinfeld. I'm like, oh, what's this? And I find it's a podcast called This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty.
One of the most popular Seinfeld podcasts is This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, co-hosted by Chris O'Hara and Tony Chula.
This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is 2 Up and 2 Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
Thanks again for tuning in, Thirsty fans, for another episode of 2 Up and 2 Down. And today we are doing the Doodle. So, Tony, start us off with your first up.
Doodle, Berg, and Schaefer. We're giving 2 ups, 2 positives, and 2 downs, 2 negatives for those who are just tuning in for the first time, which, come on, where you been? We've done about over 100 of these. But yeah, this is a season 6 episode, folks. That's the way I'm going to start this off. I mean, you think of a season 6 episode, the Doodle pops right up there for me. It's just one of those, kind of middle ground, just season 6 episodes. Solid. My first up though, and we touch on this all the time. It's just one of those things that for Seinfeld, this is like one of those, what do you call them? Like touchstones or something. It happens all the time. And when it does, I love it. When Elaine tells George that she likes him. I talked to whatchamacallit. She likes you. She likes me. You see that? I'm all worried and she likes me. Yeah. She said, looks weren't that important to her. And it just crashes right down. What do you mean looks for? I'd rather think I'm good looking and not like me. He goes off on that whole thing. Like, well, at least I'll get somebody else. Like, and Jerry's like, well, at least you know you're not good looking now. Like someone told you. Like, just incredible how George was so excited that the girl likes him, and then Lane has to slip. And you see Jerry's face when she slips. It's just like, oh no, like what are you doing? She's like, yeah. She said looks aren't that important to her, and George just loses it. I mean, talk about a great George reaction and scene just from up to down in a second. And Elaine just couldn't help herself. Yeah, looks weren't that important to her. Just incredible. I mean, how can you not like that scene? It's a great George in season 6. You're still getting these great Georges in season 6. I think Berg and Schaefer nailed it with that one. So that's my first up.
Yeah, this is when George was still a good neurotic, and everything, paranoid like that. So thanks, Tony. Over to you, Chris. What do you got for your first up?
Yeah, that one reminds me of George and Elaine. I think it was on the setup with Cynthia, and she said, he was so happy about the phone call, and Elaine was like, Yeah. So George is so high and then low, and it kind of happened in the same position in the apartment too, which is fascinating. All right, here we go, folks. The Doodle, April 6th of 1995. 30.7 million people watched this. Obviously Thursday night, season 6. What else was on that night? ABC, The Commish, we all know. Friend of Seinfeld there, Michael Chiklis. On CBS, Eye to Eye with Connie Chung. And the subject was OJ. So, this is the heart of it, right? 1995, OJ, the whole thing. And then Fox, of course, had New York Undercover. Okay, so Tony took that one, which I love, right? The ups and downs of Costanza within 30 seconds. Incredible stuff. I'm going to – listen, you got to give Hirschfeld credit, okay? Incredible guest stars in this show, but the one that really jumps out at me is The Exterminator. I mean, who's better than that guy? I mean, I don't explain him. I just exterminate him. But I love his voice. Mr. Seinfeld, we have to shut this whole place down. I'm going to fumigate it. I mean, Ellis Williams as the Exterminator, and obviously they brought him back a couple years later in the Mr. Morgan episode with Costanza. But love that guy. I mean, whether it's an electrician or, the plumber, this, that, the other thing, they nail these guys. And I love Dallas Williams, and he's just one of those guys that, when I think of an exterminator, I think of him. So just a great guest star. Not a lot of lines, but like he stood out. You know what I mean? So for me, he's my first thumbs up.
Yeah, good call there. Another great casting move. So yeah, thank you, Chris. Tony, back to you. What do you have for your first or second? I'm sorry, second up.
Yeah, not unless you want to kill him, he says, but letting the parents. That's a great line. Listen, this is a fun episode. I think this is a nice little fun episode. My second up. This is where I thought O'Hara was going at first, but I should have known better because I know he loves the exterminator, who we all do. Great with a little cigar in his mouth there, like so good. Yeah, listen, I'm gonna go. A kind of another big scene in the episode that I think a lot of people will probably agree with on is the Elaine and Krista Miller in the thing acting like they're in high school. Like, so George totally told me he totally thinks you're cute and everything, and then, do you like him? That whole thing. Yeah, he's cool. She's all excited, and then the gum stuff. Very fun little twist there that, because earlier on, Elaine's like, what are you in high school? And she asks, find out if she likes me. She does see the looks that aren't that important to her part right then and there, which is interesting. But I like a little fun little, what's Elaine doing at an art class? We don't need to read too much into that. People want to do fun stuff in the city, something to do, I guess. Who knows? She does do the cartoon later on, so maybe that's a foreshadowing or something. And I know that doodling. I know Melman doodled on his scripts. We know Larry Charles liked to do cartoon drawing, so maybe there's something there. Even though Berg and Schaefer wrote this, and David Charles wasn't there, but what have you? Maybe all these writers like to doodle. Who knows? What I'm getting at is I kind of think that scene's fun. I think Krista Miller nails it. I can give her the up right then and there if I want, but I'll just stick with this. We all know her from obviously from Farkas as well. Love to have her on the program. But listen, yeah, I think that's a solid up. I think it can't go wrong with that scene. This is one of those scenes. We always say you wouldn't turn this off. I wouldn't turn the doodle off because there's a lot of little scenes that you kind of look forward to in an episode, and that's one of them. So that's my second up.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun little scene. You always see George and Jerry act like kids, so it's kind of like, nice to see Elaine like that as well. So yeah, good one. So Chris, over to you. What's your second down? Or I'm sorry, second up.
Yeah, Miss de Grammont, right? Yeah, she was incredible. And the way she said, like, you can drape yourself in velvet. I was like, whoa, like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Elaine, very interesting. So I'm gonna double down on her. I mean, her natural laugh when she saw the George Doodle right at Monk's was really good. But I gotta tell you, the scene, her physical comedy when she was searching the apartment, holding the breath, incredible. Running in, go looking under it. I mean, it was, and listen, sometimes I knock in the later seasons her physical comedy, and obviously Kramer steals the show with that throughout the run. But my God, that scene running back and forth to the apartment, holding her breath, incredible, Elaine. I mean, it almost kind of brought me back to the whole like Van Wyck thing when she's trying to like get the guy out of the apartment. Like, man, that's great, Elaine. I mean, so she brought it without even speaking. So that's my thumbs up, is her physical comedy, searching the apartment for the manuscript, if you will.
Yeah, excellent scene. So definitely a great pull there. So Tony, over to you. We're going to start the downs. What's your first one?
I totally agree with that, Elaine. I wrote that down. Was going to be my up. I was going back and forth. I'm glad he took it because, yes, I agree. Very good, Elaine, running around in there. Listen, this is, like I said at the top, this is a season 6 episode. The more I'm talking about it, though, I mean, I didn't rank it that high within season 6. I kind of ranked it like midway towards the bottom, not bottom 5 or anything, but more like midway. And after a rewatch, it's a solid little episode. But there are downs. And I usually don't give this guy a down, but we both gave a lot of ups there around George and Elaine. But I think this Mackinac peach stuff with Kramer, I don't know, man. It didn't do it for me. We already gave her up. So I obviously, I do. I'm not going to poo poo the, unbridled enthusiasm of Billy Mumfree and Kramer. Thought that was okay. Him coming out of the apartment being like, yeah, I was in there for an hour and a half. I had milk and not bad, but the whole peaches thing. And so I'll just say the Kramer peach and stuff and tasting them, and I can't taste. Kind of fell flat for me. I mentioned Mackinac peaches over the weekend. I was at a friend's house. They're talking about peaches. I'm like, oh, Mackinac peaches, and they said no one ever. This happened to me at least 2 or 3 times where someone's mentioned these peaches, and I'm like, oh, the Mackinac peaches. Like, no, it's not the Mackinac. They named something else. So are these Mackinac peaches famous? People know about these Mackinac peaches. I never heard of them. And anytime I talk to them,
they're
made up.
Berg and Schaefer made it up. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. See that, folks? We got someone doing some research around here because I bring it up. Maybe I sound like an idiot because every time they talk about peaches, I'm like, oh, Mackinac? And they're like, no, they say like a different name of peaches. And I'm like, oh, everyone talks about
yeah, but they should know that you're a Seinfeld fan.
Well,
so.
I kind of say from Seinfeld, they're like, oh, they all laugh, but no one ever. Now I get why they look at me, I have 3 heads. And now I know why it's even bigger down because that's ridiculous to make up these peaches. I thought there were at least some real peaches. I mean, are you kidding me? And then when they talk about it, Jerry's like, oh, yeah, they're only good for a part of the year. It's all made up. See, I should have done my research. I knew it was terrible, and that's why. That goes to show you should have never made it up, Berg and Schaefer. So that's my down is these Mackinac peaches, especially now that I know they've been made up. But I'm keeping all that in. I'm not editing any of that out. I'll take full responsibility for not knowing they're fake.
I guess they fooled you, Tony.
They fooled me, Jerry.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So peaches are down. All right. Chris, over to you. What's your first down?
Yeah, hey America. Tony's still driving around New York City looking for Jiffy Park. So there we go. Maybe yeah, so Tony's just really high on this. I mean, we listen, we know Tony's a Doodle guy. We get that. Right? And I think that's swaying him a little bit. All right? There's plenty of downs on this episode.
Oh my God.
I don't even know where to begin. I mean, Jerry going, you know what? I hate to do this, but you know who I didn't like? Judy, Elaine's friend. She met on the street. Why even have her? Like, this is a big step in your career, like about the manuscript. I mean, what do we do? She's never in anything, and she's actually, I hate to say this, she's a script, she's not an actress. She's a script supervisor on the show, but it just, I know they like throwing people a bone sometimes like that, but this one didn't. It just didn't fit for Judy. It just, it felt like forced. Like, why even have her? Like, and this episode was filled with great casting. We spoke. Well, we didn't speak to Krista Miller, but we spoke to Dana Wheeler, Shelley, of course. The Exterminator is unbelievable. You had the parents. You had Wayne Knight, obviously. So
yeah, Nana.
Yeah, Nana. But Judy kind of stuck out. It's like, what is she doing there? So for some reason, it just popped. And I have more downs, but for some reason that one just kind of surfaced for me, if you will, and just didn't feel right. So Judy, my first down.
Oh, all right. Never would have picked up on that. All right. Thanks, Chris. So, Tony, back to you. What's your second down?
Yes, I agree with Judy. They could have just had her get a phone call by someone, be like, hey, read the manuscript. Oh, no, that's in Jerry's apartment. You don't need that 45 seconds. But let's not. There's plenty. I don't love this episode's not. We'll get to grades, but this guy's talking it up like I got. I'm just saying it's better than I remembered. I think on a rewatch. Listen, I have plenty of downs here. Enough. My next down though, the Plaza Hotel stuff with the parents. That's a down for me. I didn't like the whole Plaza thing to begin with. I still don't really understand how Elaine got it. She said she's from out of town. Well, then why are they giving her the job? I mean, she has to be in New York for the job, doesn't she? I was so thrown off by that. And then Elaine just lets the parents have it. No. They're arguing. Then yes. I didn't like them there, Nana throwing the glass and the whole thing, macadamia nuts. I'll give the Leo line at the end. I thought they were sending an Asian woman. Okay, that's funny. But other than that, they 2 or 3 scenes with them there. Oh, Under Siege is on again. And the whole thing. I didn't like it. I thought it was forced, and this is one of the things I'll get to with grades. But this is typical postseason 5 where they just cram in as much as they can. Newman, both parents, Leo, Nana. It's like, can we just let the 4 breathe a little bit and give them something to do and make us laugh? Like, way too much going on with that. I thought the Plaza Hotel stuff was dreadful, honestly. Yeah, I get that that's why Eileen didn't get the job, but I don't know. She could have just. I don't know. I don't want to like say we should do better or what they should have done. I just didn't like what they did. I thought Plaza Hotel stuff was bad. And so that's my second down is kind of just dragging all the parents in to make those, and they did it at least 2 times, maybe 3. I mean, enough is enough with that. I just didn't like it at all. So that's my second down.
Yeah, you're right. It did feel like they forced them into this episode with all that stuff going on. So, all right. Yeah, thanks, Tony. Chris, back to you. What's your second down?
100%. I the parents of the hotel, like, no more nuts. Like were the nuts supposed to be like alcohol? I don't like, and that's how old people party. It was just, and Nana, we mentioned it, but Nana throwing the thing, like, I don't know. You're right. I mean, they went back like 3 times, like enough already. Like, I get it. Enough. Jeez, man. But so, yeah, this is an interesting one. You mentioned Kramer. I got a few here that little ones that kind of tie in together, but like, and I didn't like Kramer explaining the manuscript to Elaine.
I knew you wouldn't like it. I don't mind it. I think I'll give it its just due just because it's kind of funny.
Yeah, but listen, I'm thinking history here, right? I'm thinking Kramer and Elaine on the couch, right? Talking about Dr. Reston. I'm thinking Kramer and Elaine in the streets of New York, waiting for O'Brien and Murphy. Like, that's good. Them 2 sitting in Monks and him going, you see, Billy was a simple country boy, a cockeyed optimist, like, who got mixed up in the high-stakes game of world diplomacy, international intrigue. I'm just like, I kind of got lost in it. I'm like, did Kramer even read it, or maybe he didn't? Maybe that's the joke. Whatever. I don't know. And then it twisted into even like the guy. I didn't like the guy Elaine interviewed with either. Like, he was so there's a lot going on there. Kramer, like Billy Mumphrey stuff, like, and then that just dragged into the interview process, which another fascinating part. So was it during the interview that all of a sudden, like, an assistant walked in and gave him the bill from the plaza? Because all of a sudden he just brought that up at the end, and obviously she didn't get the job. So again, I don't know if that's editing, I don't know if that's Ackerman, I don't know what that is, but something wasn't flowing right there. Like, because it was a legit normal interview, and all of a sudden the guy's bringing up the hotel bill and everything she ordered. So a little disjointed. So wasn't a fan of Billy Mumphrey stuff is my common thread here. So that's my second down.
All right. Yep. Thank you, Chris. So that's the ups and the downs. So Tony, I'm going to bring it back to you for final thoughts here and wrapping it up with your grade.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying about that. I always kind of thought it was 2 different times, but I guess it wasn't, right? It was the same interview. Like, very odd. It seemed like time should have passed, but it didn't. Listen, I may have sounded like I was talking this episode up, but I'm only talking up in the realm of season 6. I think it wasn't as bad in season 6 as I originally ranked it within season 6. It's kind of all I was saying, because I think there's enough holes to poke. I didn't really mention Newman. That was giving me one of my downs. Did not love the chunky stuff with Newman. Yes, it's funny. Who I know the chunky left is chunky, but other than that, it goes along in the cramming of people into it. I forgot to mention him. So Newman, Leo, Morty, Helen, Nana. It's just on and on with how many people they put in this thing. I did like the first, the 4 of them on that date, quite vexing. And went to the nude model thing there. Not bad. I'm with Jerry on all that, by the way. Do not share food. Don't share toothbrushes. It's just a thing with me. Besides the point. Elaine laughing at the drawing. I loved Elaine. I think we say Elaine had a good episode. But, did anyone else really, aside from, George and Velvet, everyone loves George and Velvet, gifts and everything else. Not bad. I'm not knocking on Bridal Enthusiasm as much as O'Hara is. I thought the interview guy wasn't great. To me, this is an average. Like I said at the top, it's a season 6 episode. When I think season 6, I think the BC, like all that range. It's like B minus, C plus, C minus, B minus. It's like all in there, right? Season 6. So where does this land? I got a lot written down. I'm kind of going back and forth here. I am going first. Dana Wheeler Nicholson, he mentioned, loved her in Fletch. I talked myself down. I have 3 things here. Gonna go solid C. I kind of wanted to go C plus, B minus. I think B minus is too high as I'm kind of talking through this. I don't think there's enough there. I think C minus is too low. I think a B minus is too high. Could be a C plus. I'm going solid C. I think there's too many better episodes in season 6, even though I just said it was higher up than I thought. I had it ranked very low in season 6. That's what I'm kind of getting at here. And I don't think it's that bad. It's Berg and Schaefer. You get some laughs. Do you turn this off? No. I think C is my cutoff on that. I think once you start dropping below into C minus D range, you're not watching it. I'm definitely watching the Doodle if it's on. There's enough here to keep me going. So I'm going even C for the Doodle.
Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, you're not turning this off. I think there's enough laughs for everybody to come in and enjoy this one. So yeah, C is a good grade here. Chris, over to you. What's your final thoughts and grade?
Wow, I thought he was going to go higher.
Hey, you telling me that's what I'm saying? I think you thought I was going higher, and I talked myself down a little bit, but I'm not going to argue with C plus. I think if you start getting I had B minus, I think it'd be a little too high.
Yeah, listen, it's a fascinating one. You always like to start with the main 4 and kind of assess like what went on in that episode. Obviously, I think George and Elaine were good. Jerry, the toothbrush thing, like that's kind of beat a dead horse too. That feels like that happens all the time. I'm the opposite. I could care less. I'll use anyone's toothbrush. Don't matter to me. I mean, if Kristen Miller is sitting there telling me we're Velvet, I don't care if she eats my nut. Like, cut that part. But anyway, the point is, forget about that's not even relatable. This episode to that degree. But yeah, Mackinac Peaches, no. Kristen Miller, great. Dana, great. The physical comedy of Elaine, incredible. But you're right, too much of the parents. Like they were just up. Like usually they're up for something, right? A doctor's appointment. Like they rarely just visit Jerry. And then I hated the end. Kramer letting a dog loose on Newman. What are we doing? Whose dog is that? Just lets it loose. And the whole thing with fleas, I actually looked this up. You don't get fleas from a chunky wrapper, okay? That's just not the reality. Like, it's you most commonly get it comes in from a pet or wildlife. So that's not happening here. So just a little fact check. Didn't love all that, but again, it's season 6. You know what? God, I had something higher, but I think I'm gonna. I hate to agree with you here, but I think I'm gonna set on a C. But the more I think about it, could be it's kind of a low C, like a 74.1, 73.8, something along that line. But I don't think it deserves any higher or any lower. You're right. I'm not turning it off, but it's not like, hey, the Doodle's on tonight. Want to watch? You know what I mean? So I think the C is kind of a fair season 6 grade.
Yeah, and I don't know if the chunky wrapper per se brought the fleas in. It could have just been Newman brought them in. He may have gotten them from an animal and then brought them in. That's all I think they were trying to say. But that's neither here nor there.
Potentially.
All right, folks. Well, there you go. There's a 2 ups and 2 downs for the Doodle. A C from both Tony and Chris. So thanks everybody again for tuning in, and we'll see you on our next episode.